Hello YouTube. Man, guys, it's glad to be back. I'm glad to be making a video. I mentioned in an earlier video almost 2 weeks ago that I'd gotten COVID and just been under the weather. That passed fairly quick. But man, just being down for I don't know 3 or 4 days a week, it just really puts you behind on things. And I've been trying to make videos and content for 4 or 5 days now, and every time I'd get ready, something would happen, or just things just coming up to where you guys know how it is. If you got kids and work and a wife and just the family things, it's difficult. If things come up, you have to take care of them. About 2 days ago is something different that I hadn't seen before. Me and my daughter come out we were going to make an unboxing video. She likes to do those with me. You guys have maybe seen one or two of those. But we were coming out to the building, or no, we were sitting inside. We were eating supper, and I looked out the window, and I seen all the cows. We live right, like our property butts right up against a pretty good sized farm, and I seen all of the cattle gathered around looking at something. And I thought, man, what are they looking at? That's strange. And I told Bug, I said, go ahead and get ready. We'll go out and do this video, and we'll see what's going on with the cows while we're at it. And we get down there, and all the cows are looking at these three donkeys that are gathered around. And the donkeys look like they're staring at something. They're just kind of gathered. They're in a circle looking at something, and they look kind of pissed off. Their ears are all laid back. I thought, what is going on? Some of you may have heard this. I've heard it my whole life, but I've never actually seen it. That farmers will put donkeys in with cattle and other livestock because they'll protect them from coyotes, wolves, dogs, different things. I've always heard that. I kind of just believed it. It's just what I've heard, and didn't, find any reason not to believe it, but I'd never seen it in action. Well, we seen it in action. When we got down here getting ready to do the video, those donkeys had stomped a neighbor's dog into the swamp, and I mean stomped it down to where all you could see was its head, and its head was covered with mud. You couldn't even hardly recognize that there was a dog there. It took me a while to see it. Yeah, and this is what's in my pocket. I guess I put something on screen. But anyway, yeah, they had stomped that dog, and earlier it didn't dawn on me. Another neighbor had come over and asked if I'd seen their dog, and I'd never seen their dog before. So I was like, no, I haven't. And so then I called the neighbor that owns the property. I'm like, hey, these donkeys have got this dog stomped in the mud down here. And then he just proceeds to tell me, I'm sorry, it ain't your dog, is? I'm like, no, I don't know whose it is. He's like, they're just doing their job. I'll see if there's anything we can do. And we couldn't get to it. And we sat there and talked for a while. And the dog, after everything cleared out, the dog started to get up and make its way away, and it ran off. Gingerly, it was limping and but it still ran off. So we thought it would be okay. But unfortunately, the neighbor come back next day later, like yesterday, I think it was, and the dog had never returned home. So I don't know if it has yet or not, but this is what's in my pocket. Sad. I know it's sad, but it was just interesting. It was different. That was one of the things. So it ended up getting dark on us, just trying to help the neighbors deal with that situation and different things. But yeah, that was crazy. But here we are. I want to do a video today and talk about what I think is one of the best knives there's ever been made. And honestly, if I could only have one knife, if somebody told me, hey, you got to choose one knife for work, play, everything you do, you can only have one for the rest of your life, this is a really good chance this would be it. Not this. I love this knife. This is a Tucson 306, I think. Yeah, TS 306, M398 steel, which Tucson has a reputation of not doing M390 and their high-end steels very well. They're okay. But in my experience, I've never had any that are terrible, like just trash. But yeah, they're not as good as they could be. They're not up to par. But man, their geometry makes up for a lot. So thin behind the edge. I'll get my calipers out one of these days and start measuring some of these. But this is probably 10. I'd say between, yeah, I'd say it's 10 or 12, around there. But yeah, just very thin. M398. Love this knife. This knife has something else interesting going for it. Knife people are always wanting the lock bar cutout to be on the inside. And in my experience, you've got to be careful what you wish for. When they do that, yeah, it maybe makes it a little more pleasing to look at. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care that much about it. But it makes this spring, because this is what that is. It makes this spring act different, and it makes it act a little different the way it engages the blade tang, and not a terrible thing. It's just different. In my experience, it's different, and I prefer it not be that way. I'd rather have it on the outside because it makes this spring feel and act different. But anyway, on to the video. This is not the knife I want to talk about. The knife, like I said, is one of the best knives that I think has ever been made, for just an all-around, just great knife. This isn't it either. This is the PM2, and I love the PM2. I love it. I carry this knife daily, whether I've got something else on me, another something else, or what. This is with me most of the time. Just a workhorse of a knife. But I honestly think there's something better, and that's the Manix 2. Any Manix 2. Now, this is a user for me. This one's in crew wear steel. This is an older version, a sprint run, aftermarket Lynch clip, I believe. Yeah. But I carry this a lot. Crew wear steel is fantastic, and the Manix, just the model Manix, is, in my opinion, one of the best knives ever made. And I didn't always think that. In fact, when I got my first Manix, I hated this. And I don't even, a lot of people claim this or think of this as an Axis style lock. I do not. I get it if you do. I respect that, and as long as you respect that I don't, we'll be fine. It's just, to me, it's a little bit different. It's different enough to not think of it in that way. But yeah, this is one of my all-time, just this model, not necessarily this particular one, but this is one of my all-time, just most recommendable knives. And I love it for a work knife, just for an all-around knife. The main reason I didn't always feel that way is when I first got it, my fingers just weren't, used to unlocking that. Some of these are pretty tight, and I hated it. I thought, man, that's awful. I can't even do that. But when I got used to it, I loved it. And yeah, because it's a little stiffer. It's a coil spring in there, and it's stiffer than an Axis lock, any Axis lock out there. No matter what Manix you get and what Axis lock you compare it to, this is going to be a little bit stiffer. It's going to take you just some people, maybe not everybody. It took me a little while to get used to. But it's got a very very dependable locking system. A ball bearing. This is actually the cage to it. I'm sure most of you know this, but there's actually a steel ball bearing in here. This lock where you pull back on this, that's also the carrier for the bearing that rides in there. But yeah, I wanted to tell you that, and tell you how I feel about the Manix 2, and then I'm just going to kind of show you all the ones that I have. So we'll get on with it here. I told that story about the dog in the beginning. That took about 3 minutes, so I promise I'll get through this next part pretty quick. But great knife, guys. There's like my brother, he was like, what knife do I just want one knife? He's like, I'm not going to collect them, but I want one great knife. And I knew that what he would do, he'd be kind of hard on it, but not, abusive or anything. And this is what I told him to get, and he absolutely loves it. He doesn't think He's like, oh, I ain't gonna. Well, you might like other knives. No, he likes this, so that's good enough. So, I like to hear that, and I'm pretty happy that I turned him on to the Manix 2, and he's that happy with it. So, yeah. But okay, let's get on with it. I'm going to show you several. I've got about 15 of them, so just ones that I've collected through the years. So here we go. This is the Rec Manix River's Edge Cutlery. It's their colorway. What do they call this? Copper or rose PVD? I can't even remember. But they've got the pair of 3. I was in on the very first drop of the pair of 3 they done years ago in the colorway, and I didn't know what happened. I thought the internet blew up, but yeah, I was like, it just shut me down. I never did get one. I've seen them things go as high as $900 on the secondary market for the pair of 3. But yeah, River's Edge Cutlery, very cool looking. I love the black hardware and backspacer clip. It looks good matched up against this. So this is in 204p steel. That's a variation of M390 and 20CV. Pretty much the same thing. I think 204p is the most different one out of the 3, if I remember right, but still not different enough to make a difference, if that makes any sense. So, this is a nice one. This is in what they call Burl G10 S90V steel. Every one of these you see out there will be different. The pattern in the G10 will look different. I've seen some that are real ugly, and I've seen some that look a lot better than this. That's my opinion. You may hate it no matter what it looks like. I think it's pretty cool. S90V steel, pretty good steel. I like it all right. I like it better than S110V just because it's just a little easier to sharpen, a little easier to work with. Takes a little bit keener edge, quicker. But yeah, Burl G10 S90V. This is actually a Clad Blade. Let's see if you can see that line. I don't know if I can get it to show up or not. Yeah, do you see that there? So this is S90V at the core. Means this core here, your cutting edge, is going to be S90V. And this is 154 cm. It's sandwiched in between that. So you've got a little bit, I guess, of a tougher steel on the outside. They do this a lot, but usually in 420J or 412J, it's a real cheap steel that they usually clad with, and it scratches really easy. So I'm kind of glad they went with the 154, a little bit better of an outside steel, a little more durable. But got this textured laminate G10 here, which a lot of people don't like. I'm okay with it. It's not my favorite, but yeah. So S90V on the cutting edge, 154 cm on the outside, or CPM 154 on the outside. So even better yet. And 52-100. I like this colorway too. It's a gray, like a dark gray, and DLC coated blade. 52-100. It's like a ball bearing steel. I believe NASA used it. Don't really know the history. I didn't study up on this before I come out here, but yeah, pretty tough steel. I don't think it holds an edge for an extremely long time, but yeah, good stuff nonetheless. DLT Exclusive in crew wear. This is like a deep purple and black. And guys, I used to have a lot more when COVID hit and all that shit went down. I had to sell a lot of my collection. I probably had about 30 Manixes, maybe not that many, probably 25 or so, 26, I don't know. But I had to sell a lot of them. I try not to even think about it. I couldn't remember the ones I've sold. But this is a good one. Very cool. I'm not sure if you can still get these or not. They may be floating around DLT, or they may bring them back because you can do that with exclusives. Sprint runs are the ones that you can't bring back. But yeah, DLT crew wear. The Blurple S110V. Steel's pretty good. It's okay. It holds an edge for a great long time. Really good stain resistance. Nothing wrong with it at all. The thing that I don't like about it is and your mileage may vary. Maybe you're a great sharpener, way better than I am, and can get a keen edge. I have a hard time putting like a real keen edge on this steel. But other than that, it still takes a great edge. Anybody can sharpen it. There's people say sometimes that, oh, that steel is hard to sharpen. That's not really true. They don't get harder. Well, they don't really get harder to sharpen. You just have to practice more, and maybe it takes longer on a different steel. But S110V, satin blade, and the Blurple scales. M4 and the Jade. Now, I only like the Jade if it's with a black blade. If it's a satin blade and the Jade scales, not really my cup of tea. But I really like the looks of it when it's got the DLC coating on hardware and all of that. But M4, another really tough, good steel. I like that one just fine. I like all steels, you guys. I think you've heard me maybe mention before that there's two steels that I don't really care for, but they're still great steels, and that's D2 and S35VN. Still great steels. Lots of people love them, and that's fine. For me, they're like, I like S35VN just fine, but I prefer S30V. That's just my preference. But this is M4 Manix Blade HQ exclusive, I think. Pretty sure. This is a Knife Joker exclusive, I think, out of California. I believe the guy's name's Travis Varney that runs Knife Joker. This is that translucent plastic, forget what they call it, but yeah, this is the kind that's got like a real plasticky feel to it. It's not terrible, but yeah, 20 CV on the blade steel, translucent scales, wire clip. It's a good knife. It's a Manix, of course it is. Whoa, dominoes. Maximat. My wife got me this for, I can't exactly remember, maybe an anniversary or a birthday. I think it was a birthday. Can you read that? Yeah, she's a sweet woman. I love her. Love her to death. She's cool. She likes knives too. Not as much as I do, but yeah, she knows a lot about them. She can sharpen. She can, she knows, she can answer questions about steels and, she's into it a little bit too. But she got me this. I believe this might have been my first Maximat knife. But yeah, gray. What do they call that? I can't remember. Oh, I can't think of the name of this stuff, guys. But this is the lightweight version. It had a wire clip on it. This is a Lynch Northwest clip that they make. It's a replacement for the wire clip. Not a huge fan of the wire clip. That's why I replaced it. But yeah, good knife. And Maximat steel, it's great too. Oh, 15V. Sean Houston, the Big Brown Bear. This knife, I couldn't wait to get this when I found out he was going to be collaborating with Spyderco on this. I just couldn't wait. Sean knows a lot. If you know him on YouTube, he's had quite a journey. He's sharpen and learn about steels, and you could just watch him grow through the years. And shoot, now he's making knives, and he's got his foot in the door of Spyderco, all sorts of good things, man. He's a really good dude. Check him out, Sean Houston or Big Brown Bear on YouTube. He hasn't done anything in a while, I don't think, but that's because he's busier nowadays. He's doing the real deal, and probably doesn't have all that much time to make YouTube videos. But 15V, very good steel, very high end, very The edge retention is going to be tremendous. I think it's a fairly tough steel. I can't remember. Is 15V tough? I don't know. I can't remember. But good knife. Manix. That's another version. St. Nick's. I used to have the whole collection of these. I had to sell some of them off. But of course I kept the Manix 4V, which is one of my favorite steels. Just for the edge it takes. It takes a very, very keen edge and it holds it for quite a while. These are like a deep red or crimson color scale. Black clip, black hardware, black scale, liners. Cool looking knife. St. Nick's exclusive. They've done several. They've done the Para 3 lightweight, PM2, and several others too. So some smaller ones. I can't really remember, but go check them out too. I'm not sure if they have any of the Spyderco exclusives right now, but they usually come out with one about every 2 years or so. Spy 27. This is Spyderco's exclusive steel. It's pretty good stuff. I like it. Sharpens well. It's a kind of a everyman steel, and a good one at that. Does everything well. So yeah. This is another lightweight version. Man, I love the Manix. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Oh my God, this is my very first one. This is in crew wear as well, with a really nice carbon fiber. When I first got this was at the time one of the most expensive knives that I had bought. And I could barely, I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but you know, I was used to case knives and buck knives, like $40 knives. When you buy like a $200, you know, knife at the time, I was like, man, I was afraid to put a scratch on it. I went through that for a long time. The older I get, the more I'm just like, nah, hell with it, you know. I can't take them with me. I mean, I'm going to try a few of them at least, but yeah. It's one of my favorite knives, guys. The Manix 2 is, if you haven't ever tried one, if you get a chance before buying it, if you know, because you probably shouldn't take anybody's word for it. If you get a chance to try them out, do that. But you could almost, it's just a good knife. I highly recommend it in any version you can find. Any steel, any handle material, a very good knife. And everybody's favorite, the Freyden Lock in 4V, with the saber grind, the hollow grind, marble carbon fiber. I had two of these, and this is the one I don't use as of now. I had a user and I ended up selling it for, man, I think maybe $400, $350, $400. The guy gave me for it. Had a little chip in it. He fixed it all up. I've had several people offer me $500 for this knife. And I can't let this one go. There ain't no way. You know, it's just me, but if somebody offered me $600 or $700, I would turn it down. That's how much I love this knife. It's just, I love the Manix, and this is my favorite. So I'm going to forever keep it. But, okay, guys, that's all my Manixes. And like I was saying, I'll take a drink of coffee. It's a little bit chilly out there. Yeah, the Manix 2, guys. In any steel, in any handle material, it's just an all-around good work knife. It carries well. There's just nothing that I can think of that I don't like about it. It's a good-looking knife, I think. A lot of people, you know, think Spyderco's knives are ugly. I did too for a while. I think my wife still does. My daughter loves them though, but she likes them because all the colors, I think, is why she really likes them. But yeah, guys, you can't go wrong with the Manix. If, like I said, if somebody made me choose one knife and that was all I could have, this would definitely be highly considered. So, yeah. So if you've somehow never handled a Manix, or you don't have one, try to check one out and tell me what you think in the comments. Man, this video got away from me. We're at like 25 minutes now. I swear if I do one that's 5 minutes long, it seems like it took me an eternity. It feels like it was 100 minutes long. And if one goes by quick, it's a half hour long. But all right, guys, I'm going to do an unboxing with my daughter later today. I hope everybody's doing well, staying warm, eating good. Times are kind of tough out there. So till the next time, guys. Bye.